We wrap up this 10-day, 9-game road trip today in Anaheim, California, as the Houston Astros look for a sweep against the Angels. The Astros with a 79-50 record, matching their best ever heading into game number 130 of the season, taking on the Angels from Angel Stadium. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Todd Callis alongside Jeff Blum. It's been an interesting road trip. The Astros losing 3 of the first 4, now winning the last 4, and Blummer, the offense has really come alive during that stretch.
Yeah, it's been pretty exciting. Altuve in that mix, but it's nice to see the depth of this lineup really come through, get some big hits, and a lot of runs scored means good things for the pitchers.
Hopefully they'll support they'll get some runs to support today's starter. Our Get Out and Play presented by Toyota. Framber Valdez gets his first start.
Yeah, Framber last pitched in Seattle, what turned out to be a bullpen day, but that bullpen day turned out to be a pretty good audition for Framber Valdez, working himself into that starting rotation for the Houston Astros. Again, only the 7th starting pitcher the Astros have used this season, but he looked great. We saw a live fastball in the mid-90s, and we also saw a pretty good breaking ball with some late snap to it. Steve Sparks had a lot of good things to say about that delivery, and it paid off, getting him into that rotation.
A couple guys with some good breaking balls today. We could see some curveballs and some swings and misses, but Julian Morales will be by to talk about the guys at the top of the lineup while George Springer's been out.
Astros playing their final game on this 9-game road trip, and they're 5-3 so far, which means this is going to be a winning road trip no matter what happens today. We've seen the offense come around on the road, and when things go well for the Astros, they not only hit first, but they score first on the road, and that's exactly what happened last night, and that is a good thing for the Astros as they are 51-15 when they score first. You got to start with the guys at the top of the order. Our ATV No Player Does More. That was Alex Bregman and Jose Altuve hitting first and second. They're going to do it again today. They combined for 4 hits, a couple of walks, in that 8-3 win yesterday. Bregman actually got things going with that double, and then Altuve followed with the RBI single for the quick lead. It was 3-0. Quickly after that, Justin Verlander, who started yesterday's game, absolutely loved that part of it. But the club is definitely missing the guy who's usually at the top. That's what makes this club so dangerous, though, is that they're able to pick things up when guys are out. Bregman and Altuve doing that. But Springer, George Springer, he's expected to return to the lineup tomorrow versus the Oakland A's after missing 5 games so far with that sore left quad. He is still, though, available to pinch hit as he is having some fun with his manager, AJ Hinch, right there, though. Guys, it is good to see Jose Altuve in the lineup today after he took that 98-mile-per-hour fastball off the left elbow. He said last night he sometimes forgets to wear that elbow pad, and he definitely forgot it yesterday. I doubt he forgets it today. I saw him walk out of the tunnel into the dugout holding it along with his bat. TK?
Hey, Julia. You're very close right there. If you see him walk out to the on-deck circle, can you make sure everything's good?
I'll go ahead and remind him.
Yeah, it's on you today, Julia.
Julia hanging out right to the left of the dugout as the players walk into the on-deck circles. We get ready for baseball on this Sunday afternoon. The Astros 5-3 on this road trip. So no matter what happens today, they will have a winning trip as they head back home for a 10-game homestand, one of the longest homestands of the year. We have a little bit of delay at the start of this game because the grounds crew here, led by my man Barney back there behind the mound, had a little issue.
Oh, no.
Not good.
Got a blowout.
Not good. What do we do now?
Yeah, panic is now setting in.
So a little repair before the game as pipe burst behind the mound. The guys were on it in a hurry. And
kind of makes you wonder if Bull Durham and happenings are here. Crash Davis came out and said, hey, guys, do you need a little bit of a rain out today?
That would have been a tough day for Framber Valdez, and what is going to be his first major league start. Here he comes in from the bullpen, so he's ready to go.
It could be like some of the courses that we played, ground under repair, just mark it off, and if the ball hits back there, you just replay it.
Yeah, clean or replace. All right, here's the AL West standings. What's interesting about this as we start today's play with all 3 teams in the AL West at the top winning last night. If you take the top 6 records in all of baseball, you have the Yankees in second behind the Red Sox, who are actually struggling right now. They just have a chance to lose 6 out of 8 if they don't come back today. Then the Astros are the 3rd best record. Oakland's the 4th best record. Then the Cubs in the National League, and then Seattle. Seattle right now on the outside looking in actually has the 6th best record in all of baseball. Better than the Cleveland Indians, better than everybody else in the National League except for the Cubs. But the Mariners right now are 4 games out of a wild card spot. It is going to be a huge week for the A's. They will play Houston and then play Seattle next week, and that could be a very big factor in how they end up in 2018. And this year, Blummer, maybe more than ever, to win this division as opposed to being the wild card is a huge difference the way it is playing out right now. You either become the 5 seed and go to Yankee Stadium for a wild card game, or you're the potential 2 seed and would have home field advantage against the Indians.
Yeah, I think even as good as the Indians are, that would be beneficial to the Astros to be able to play against them in that opening round. It will be tough for whoever that wild card is. It's equally as tough, like you said, with those records and some of the work that that potential West wild card has to go through to get there. Their teeth are going to be sharp and ready for that postseason once they get in there. But the Yankees in Yankee Stadium can be very tough.
A couple of guys with Valdez on their jersey in the Astros dugout today. Martin Maldonado wearing Valdez for Players Weekend. That is his mother's maiden name. And then Framber with his own name on the back of his jersey, getting ready for his first major league start. He'll get a half inning to chill out as the Astros will bat against Felix Pena to start this game. The A's getting some bad news today as their left-hander Sean Manaea pitched a no-hitter earlier in the season, and possibly the guy that they're looking to for that wild card game, if in fact they play in that game. He goes on the DL today.
Yeah, that's a big loss, especially the way he's pitched against the Astros in some of these games coming up. But losing a big arm out of that rotation, they've already got a patchwork rotation working in Oakland. They've got a couple of guys in Cahill and Jackson who have done well pitching into some of these ball games, but you can really tell the emphasis in Oakland was to go out there and get some back-end relievers and really try and shorten that game. So hopefully they can find somebody to put together 3-4 innings and get them into some of these games. But that bullpen is going to get abused here in the upcoming weeks.
A's wrapping up a series today in Minnesota. They lost the first game against the Twins. They've won the next two. And playing a little bit earlier than the Astros today. We'll keep you updated on that score as the day goes on. But right now, let's tell you about the Astros starting lineup presented by Southwest Airlines. As Julia mentioned, one more day without George Springer. Hopefully we'll see Springer in there tomorrow. So Alex Bregman, Jose Altuve, and Carlos Correa, they've been the top three in the absence of Springer. Marwin Gonzalez slots up to the cleanup spot. Tyler White out of the lineup today. Yuli Gurriel bats fifth and plays first base. Josh Reddick is in right field. Evan Gattis will get a DH start. Max Stassi behind the plate. And Tony Kemp is in center field.
Felix Pena, right-hander, going for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. He has appeared in 13 games. 11 of them have been starts. 1-3 record, 55 2/3 innings pitched. Pretty good strikeout number in that time at 59. Last time out, he pitched against Arizona, went 6 strong. You can see, set a career high with those 12 strikeouts. It's not going to really mix it up too much other than the fastball and the curveball, the occasional changeup to left-handed hitters. Fastball averaging 92.5 miles an hour.
Defensively behind Pena today, it'll be Eric Young, Mike Trout, and Cole Calhoun, who has more outfield assists than anybody else in baseball since 2016 with 27. Andrelton Simmons possibly winning his 4th Gold Glove of the Year this season. An excellent shortstop along with Taylor Ward, who made a two-run error in yesterday's game. Right side of the infield, David Fletcher at second, and Jeffrey Marte is at first. Albert Pujols DHs, and behind the plate today, coming back from a bee sting on Friday night, is Rene Rivera.
Gamer.
We're ready for baseball. Last time you will see these very bright highlighter orange jerseys for the Astros, unless of course you want to try and get your own in the team store when the team comes back to Minute Maid Park. But Players Weekend wraps up today. The Astros looking for a 3-game sweep and looking for a 6-3 road trip and a 5-game winning streak to head back home. First time Pena facing the Astros, and we are underway with a breaking ball outside. It bounces in there. Yesterday he went with the LSU shoes and he was on base 3 times, a couple of doubles and a walk, but Bregman apparently not very superstitious.
Bummer.
Up to 40 doubles now is Bregman. Tied for the AL best. Only one major leaguer has more doubles than Bregman or Francisco Lindor, who were tied for the league lead. Eduardo Escobar, who started the year in Minnesota and now plays for Arizona, combined with those two teams, he has 43, 37 with the AL and 6 at the National League. So Bregman pops this one up on a 2-0 pitch, and it's put away by Fletcher, and that's how this game starts. Breg retired for the first out. That'll bring up Jose Altuve, and Julia has done her job in his first AB. He does have the elbow guard on.
Julia now 1 for 1.
Altuve saying hi to both Rene Rivera and Mike Estabrook. Always good to make friends with the home plate umpire before the game. AJ had to wait, didn't take long, but had to wait just to see Altuve today, make sure everything was good before he put his official lineup in there. He said last night, Altuve, a quick healer.
Does everything right, doesn't he? Plays the game right, heals fast.
Friends with all. Altuve reaching base 5 times in last night's game. 2 hits, a walk, that hit by pitch that got him on the left elbow, and reached on an error. But it was his hustle that allowed for some pressure to be put on Taylor Ward, and maybe forced a quick throw after a bobble, and that scored 2 runs for the Astros in their 8-3 win. Astros winning 9-3 Friday, 8-3 last night.
The reason he has that arm pad on, got squared up nicely with that 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Unintentional in a 2-strike count, but it definitely got away.
Back to the mound. Pena makes the play on 1 hop. Now Altuve retired for out number 2. Well, Felix Pena, quite the opposite of some other pitchers we've seen on this road trip, in that when he pitches on the road, everything's fine, but here at Angel Stadium, not as consistent. has not won a game at Angel Stadium, making his 12th start of the season. First 38 big league appearances, all were out of the bullpen before his first start this year on June 19th. Carlos Correa chops one foul at the plate. So for both of these offenses, kind of a little bit of learning a new pitcher day. Astros never facing Pena. Obviously, the Angels have never faced Framber Valdez, making his first big league start. I see guys sharing a lot of information here in the first couple of innings as Correa takes a fastball for a strike, and he's down to the count 0-2. Pena's a guy that has done very well against right-hand hitters. Bregman and Altuve have been retired, coming in 198 against righties, 307 against left-hand hitters. Marwin, switch hitter, and then Josh Reddick and Tony Kemp will bat left-handed against Pena today.
This is my wife, Diane.
Pena's not a guy that throws a lot of pitches. You see overall fastball curve change. His high pitch count of the year is his last start at 91. Correa to short. Simmons is there. And Pena 1-2-3 inning to start this game. Sitting with the exact same lineup they had on Friday night. Mike Trout is the #3 hitter with the lefty Valdez out there. No Shohei Ohtani today. Albert Pujols back to the DH role. Simmons, Rivera, Marte, Ward, and EYJ round out your Angels lineup.
Framber Valdez worked himself into this starting role after the 4 1/3 innings he pitched in Seattle. It was a bullpen day, but it was an opportunity for Valdez to show what he's got. We saw some good things. That fastball in the mid-90s. Also had a very good curveball. Rumor has it he has a changeup, but we have yet to see it. 14 starts in AAA, 6-5.
All right, so here's the defense behind Framber today with Marwin Gonzalez in left field. Tony Kemp back in center. He has been a fixture in center with Springer missing the last 2 series. Josh Reddick, 8 outfield assists. He is in right. Astros defense brought to you by Xfinity. Alex Bregman and Carlos Correa on the left side. Jose Altuve and Yuli Gurriel on the right side. And Max Stassi gets his first start of this series. Framber Valdez, 4 1/3 innings, coming out of the bullpen in his last appearance, and now makes his first major league start and delivers a pitch inside to Cole Calhoun. Valdez very impressive in that outing in Seattle. He allowed just 2 hits and 1 walk. He did hit 3 batters, but he had some tough takes and some uncomfortable swings, especially by left-handed hitters. And he's ahead 1-2 on Calhoun.
StatCast AI powered by AWS shows the Astros in that shift situation, and a majority of the balls off the bat of Cole Calhoun going up the middle to the right side.
See if he breaks out the curveball here ahead of the count. He does, and he gets a take, and it didn't miss by much, says Mike Estabrook. It's 2-2.
Yeah, those 3 hit batters you're talking about were on the breaking ball to some of these left-handed hitters, just kind of fluttering up there, but a very good pitch on our MD Anderson strike zone just off that outside edge.
Still don't know how a guy takes that pitch. That looks so good for so long. With 2 strikes, Calhoun took a close one, but now he goes down on this one. And Valdez picks up his 4th strikeout of 5 on the curveball so far in the early part of his career.
It's a good one. It really looks like it has late break. Like you said, TK, that ball comes out of his hand. You got to stay on it. By the time you make that decision to swing, you really feel like it catches an extra gear and gets down out of the zone.
A very confident young man. He's looking forward to this first start of his career. 24-year-old from the Dominican Republic, and there's a called strike to David Fletcher. Fletcher looking for his first hit in this series.
Wow.
Stassi does so well at those low pitches. That's kind of his specialty. He's great at framing overall, but those ones that are near the knees kind of eases them up ever so subtly. Towards first, Yuli will take it himself, and 2 outs quickly for Framber Valdez.
It's nice to keep guys off the base when you face Mike Trout for the first time in your career. It'll be interesting to see how that curveball plays, because it is a very good pitch, but Mike Trout is a guy who crushes pitches down in the zone.
Trout missed 15 games this month with a right wrist injury, but he is still, with that 1,090 OPS, the leader in that category. Be tough to see him win an MVP, though, with the Angels struggling below 500. And some good candidates on teams that will make the playoffs in the Red Sox and the Indians. 2-0 the count to Trout.
There's a good chance he'll be in the top 5 in voting.
Yep.
Just seems to be what he does every single year.
You don't like falling behind this guy.
My gosh.
But at this time it may work out. Correa has to charge, throw on the move, and Trout is retired. Framber Valdez in his first big league start, a 1-2-3 inning. Got in there.
Yeah, he did.
No hidden fees, that's transparency. By Arctic, overbuilt, not overpriced. And by Volkswagen. The Big Hats, one of the staples here at Angel Stadium, the Big A, fourth oldest stadium in Major League Baseball. It's kind of surprising to some people. You have Wrigley Field, of course. You've got Fenway Park. You've got Dodger Stadium, the third oldest, and now this place. They've done a great job keeping this place modern through the years.
I remember coming to watch the Los Angeles Rams. Vince Ferragamo,
Really?
Eric Dickerson, yeah, when I was a kid. Coming through here, and this place was totally enclosed.
How far is this from where you grew up?
Maybe about 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah?
Yeah, we're a little more inland.
The Rams, huh?
Yep. Remember watching Brian Downing. I wore number 11 for the longest time because of Doug DeCinces.
There you go.
Third baseman here for the Angels in the 80s.
So between Dodger Stadium and this stadium, which did you attend more?
I went to Dodger Stadium more. Not sure why. I think it was my dad who wanted to watch a little more Dodger baseball than Angel baseball. But they've definitely kept this place in prime condition. I still like coming here, even though it is pretty old. This booth sets up nice for us, and the sight lines are amazing here.
Yeah, beautiful ballpark, even with the flood behind the mound today. 1-2 the count to Marwin. What a series it's been. What a trip it's been for Marwin. 4 more home runs on this trip. He has been the road warrior lately. Although that time he gets rung up on a breaking ball that drops in there for a strikeout. Pena's first strikeout.
Elevated off speed, you're going to see some hitters kind of lay off that just because it's, you see the ball up and you have a tendency to shut things down, and Pena gets enough break in that to get it back to the top portion of the zone.
Pena usually throws that curveball a little more often to right-hand hitters, as he does right there to start Yuli with a strike. 42% of the time he'll throw that curveball with righties up there. A little heavier on the two-seamer to lefties. He'll go 50-50 with the two-seam and four-seam to righties, although he starts off Yuli with a couple of off-speed pitches, and he's ahead 0-2. Pena, like his opposing pitcher today, Framber Valdez from the Dominican Republic. This one's popped high in the air. Fletcher all by himself beyond second. Puts it away, and Pena's retired the first 5.
Time now for the Shiner Light Blonde Spotlight. And we're going to put it on Josh Reddick in the last 4 games, hitting at a 400 average, scoring 3 runs. You got to remember, too, in those last couple of games, he's seen some tough left-handed pitching, still able to go out there and get some hits. But getting on base for some of these guys in the bottom part of the order to be driven in.
And guess which shoes he has on today?
Spider-Man.
Yep. 0 for 2 with the other shoes yesterday. Switched to mid-game, went 3 for 3 with those shoes. So they are back, as if there was a question. 1-1 the count. See Reddick's numbers over the last 4 games. He's been trying to battle back to that 250 spot like Marwin Gonzalez. Josh also making a fine defensive play in this series.
How do you think Josh feels about Bregman changing shoes?
After he reached base 3 times and had 2 doubles?
Yeah.
I think he would say, Alex is confident no matter what. I need everything to make myself feel ready. I think Alex can do his own thing and be just fine.
Yep.
But you're right. There's one guy who would probably be a little more, although, you know, Alex did shave the mustache mid-game.
That's true. And the hair's, the blonde hair only lasted a couple of games.
So it depends on the day, but Reddick definitely faring better with the red shoes, so they are back today. And he hits it hard to center field. Trout going back, still going back, and he'll reach up and make the play as he crosses onto the warning track. Hit well by Reddick, but retired for the final out of the second.
Dog Day ticket package. For tickets and more information, visit astros.com/dogday.
We head to the bottom half of the second inning. Astros and Angels. Neither team has had a runner reach base. Felix Pena on the mound for the Angels, and Framber Valdez making his first major league start in his second major league appearance, as they'll face Albert Pujols. Pujols coming in batting .247 and struggled lately. He's 0 for 17, but this will be his 1,000th career at bat against the Houston Astros. By far the most against any team in his Hall of Fame career. Spent some years with the Cardinals while the Astros were in the NL, now in the same division in the American League. And Valdez has yet to find the strike zone against the machine. It's 3-0.
So he's basically played 2 seasons against the Astros in his career.
285 hits and 999 at bats, and Valdez went a 1-2-3 first inning. Walks Pujols on 4 pitches to start the second. I didn't see any sign of nerves in that first appearance, especially when Valdez faced his fellow countryman Robinson Cano and came inside on him. He does walk Pujols there to start the inning. Here's Angelton Simmons. Simmons takes a called strike. Towards Gurriel, he'll make the play to second. Carlos has no chance at a double play. Valdez was covering just in case he made the throw. There to retire Pujols, and Simmons will reach on the fielder's choice. The thing about Valdez is, I mentioned both guys from the DR. Pena signed when he was 19. Valdez didn't sign until he was 21. That's a little later than you usually see from guys in the Dominican. A lot of times they'll sign in their mid-teens.
Oh, yeah.
16 years old. Valdez was kind of a late bloomer, and the Astros signed him at age 21 right before the 2015 season. Ball hit towards Altuve, makes the jump for the catch as Rivera broke his bat and retired on a soft line drive.
Altuve reacting initially off the bat. That was a bit of a changeup off the end of the bat being broken. But Altuve trying to show off the hops.
There's Jeffrey Marte. Marte starting the game batting .214. Has struggled in his career against the Astros. 6 for 57. 105 career mark against Houston. This one gets away from Stassi, and that'll advance Simmons a base. Angelton Simmons in a scoring position on the wild pitch.
A little awkward. Not a very aggressive attempt by Stassi, just trying to glove that on the short hop. Skipped away.
Stassi was the catcher when Framber made his big league debut in Seattle on Tuesday. As Marte fouls the 2-0 pitch. By starting Valdez today, in addition to keeping him with 4 days rest, pitched on Tuesday, now again on Sunday, it also created an extra day for Garrett Cole with the off day here in Anaheim. Normally, Cole would be pitching today, but A.J. Hinch slotting Framber Valdez. Never a bad idea, as Cole and Verlander are on a pace for over 200 innings, to give, when you can, your horses an extra day of rest before a start. Just outside, the count's full. Two big hops to Correa. Carlos with a strong throw, getting Marte for the final out of the inning. So an opening walk and one man left on base.
SW, what's your favorite part of Players Weekend? Second annual Players Weekend. Is it the nicknames on the back of the jerseys, the unis, the bright colors, or the shoes that have been customized? Vote and we'll let you know which one wins. I like Evan Gaddis's nickname. It goes way back. Said he was 5 years old and he went to a high school camp and he was digging in, kept digging. And the high school coach loved it, loved that about him. And of course, he said he was dropping bombs at that age as well. But he said he called him Bull because of the way he was digging in the box to get ready to hit.
Altuve does that now. Was he hitting dingers as a kid?
Probably. Evan said, I mashed when I was 5. I'm sure you did.
Probably had the same stance.
Didn't need batting gloves.
There's only one thing missing.
What's that?
Beard.
You don't think he had it at age 5?
That would be incredible. It would be a miracle of modern. I'll just stop there.
Gaddy still with the team lead, tied with Alex Bregman with those 24 home runs. And towards the middle, and there's the Astros' first base hit. Good for Evan Gaddis. Hasn't started a game since Monday in Seattle, with Tyler White being as hot as he's been. And Gaddis on base to start the third.
That is a good thing. It's not easy to take that much time off and go up there and get a base hit your first AB, but that's got to feel great for Evan Gaddis. staying up the middle. Didn't have to crush it. They were playing him pretty much straight up. But yeah, that feels pretty good.
It was just 1 for 15 on the trip prior to that base hit. See if the bottom of the order can get things going here as the Astros have their first base runner, and Pena will face Max Stassi. Stassinelli getting his first start in this weekend series.
A good name for a champagne. Pop open the Stassinelli.
I'd like to order a nice bottle of your 92 Stassinelli.
Yep.
1-1 the count to Max. Haney's a guy that worked out of the Cubs bullpen the last couple of years. Bullpen made of the Astros' Hector Rondon. End of last season, traded over to the Angels. And now getting a chance to start after appearing as a reliever exclusively for Joe Madden. There's that curveball that can give right-handers problems, why they're hitting less than 200 against him. It's 2-2.
Good break.
He's got about 60% of his strikeouts on that pitch. Tries to go back to it, and Stassi holds up. It's 3-2. Max starts the day batting .233.
Really like to see Max get to that opposite field gap, keep that front shoulder closed as long as he can. Sometimes I think when he gets a little rushed, that front side opens up and opens up the outside corner to get that swing and miss like we saw on that curveball.
Ball 4, Pena walks Stassi, and the Astros have 2 on to start the 3rd inning. I'll bring up Tony Kemp. Kemp had the Houston Strong shoes on Friday night. He had the Vanderbilt themed shoes yesterday, and today
Little rainbow and Houston skyline in there.
This guy's got all kinds of footwear.
Grief. That's impressive.
He's got style.
Houston Strong.
There they are.
He's Kemping again.
Yes, he is, because he knows it ain't easy. He is Kempy officially on the back of his jersey, but we have seen the shoes say Kempin. Tony takes one away for ball 1.
Tony's got some options in this AB. There's nobody out. Runner at first and second. He's hitting in that 9 spot, but he has very good control of the strike zone. Is able to lay off pitches, creates walks, and he's also done a good job of hitting the fastball this season. But I mean, if he wanted to, he could lay down a bunt on either side, try for a base hit. Worst case scenario is they throw him out and it ends up being a sack bunt.
I wouldn't mind seeing that, especially with a guy at third base. Taylor Ward was still kind of adjusting to that position this year.
That's another great idea. You have to take that kind of stuff into account. Julia was talking earlier about how when the Astros score early, they do pretty well throughout the game. But it could really put Pena in a tough spot. But Kemp is also a guy that he can be doubled up, but it's tough to double him up. You have to turn a pretty good double play because he runs so well.
The corners are pinched in, thinking that might be a possibility even in a 1-1 count. As Kemp bats in front of the top of the order, Alex Bregman. Swinging all the way and taking inside is 2-1.
That's the thing too, with the defense up the middle playing in that double play depth and the corner infielders pinched in, it actually opens up creates some holes, some opportunities if you hit the ball hard enough.
Now Marte backs up on this 2-1 count.
And if Tony can, a lot of guys that can bunt will take a peek right before that pitcher comes set to see where everybody's at.
Late swing there, it's 2-2.
I think this ball ran a little bit further away from Tony than he anticipated.
Mentioned Pena will throw that two-seamer more often to the lefty hitters than he will the righties. Kemp continues to have the best numbers of all number 9 hitters in the major leagues. Even though in this series, Tony has just 1 hit and 8 at-bats, overall 336 mark, and a 903 OPS in 46 games as a 9-hitter. Gaddis on second, Stassi on first, nobody out in the third. Kemp goes down swinging as Pena picks up his second strikeout.
Pena did a good job going back to that two-seam fastball, running away from Kemp.
Here's Alex Bregman. Alex popped up his first time up. Bregman in the midst of a 44-game on-base streak on the road. That is the second longest in Astros franchise history. Reached base 3 times last night. Fouls that first one back to the screen.
I think Alex wanted to hit that one about 900 feet.
Seems like Alex says whenever he hits a home run, Gaddis does as well. Those two have been tied on top of the team lead for home runs for the last 2 or 3 weeks. Both of them in the lineup today, so be good to see one get one and maybe provoke the other. Oh, and bounces in there. It's 1-1. Only streak longer right now in Astros history than this guy's is our buddy Jeff Bagwell, our compadre in the broadcast booth once a month this year. Baggy had a 51-game streak that carried over from the 98 season into the 99 season. Speaking of that 98 season, 79 wins and 50 losses, the best mark in Astros franchise history. This year's team and the 98 team. Bregman lines one into left field. Pettis will hold up Gaddis as that ball got to Eric Young Jr. in a hurry. But the streak continues. Bregman has been on base in 45 consecutive road games.
Rockets. He's getting back in a little bit of a groove again. Just the simplicity of that swing and the recognition, and then just drop the barrel on it and hit another line drive.
Well, the Astros started out this road trip 1-3 without Jose Altuve. They are 4-0 since Jose Altuve has come back to the team, and they've averaged 7.5 runs per game since his return. Like what the guys in the truck are thinking, the Grand Slam record is on the line. It could be tied if Altuve gets a hold of one here. A little pop-up at shortstop. Simmons is there, makes the play for the second out. Simmons thought momentarily about pulling an Altuve on Altuve and letting that ball drop.
See, would have been more interesting up the middle if he did drop it between Alex Bregman and Max Stassi, picking who he wanted to get first. Probably could have gunned it home.
I was going to say, it would have been a very interesting play, and maybe one that he was thinking about, but with a runner on third, you better be pretty certain you can get 2 outs. Here's Carlos Correa. People aren't sure what we're referencing on Friday night. Altuve let a ball drop and turned a double play where he got the out at first initially and then caught up Cole Calhoun between first and second.
Just a brilliant play, gutsy but brilliant.
Carlos grounding out his first time up. Coming back off the DL, Correa hitting 160. Here's that play we talked about, a little soft pop-up.
Yeah, and he was watching the runner at first base. He was also watching the hitter. Hitter didn't get a good break out of the box, and I think that's what dictated him making that play to throw out the runner at first, and then get Calhoun in that rundown. That was beautiful.
Backs Correa off the plate. It's 2-1. Road numbers have been much better for Correa this year, hitting over 300 on the road. Good spot here for the Astros to try and get on the board first. They had the bases loaded and 1 out. Pena able to get Altuve on a soft pop-up, and now he's 2-2 on Correa.
You just want to be mildly entertained. Check out the bottom of your screen and what Andrelton Simmons is trying to do down there is block Stassi from giving signs to Carlos Correa.
He does that with almost every Astros runner.
Might be a little overkill.
He will sneak in as his catcher, Rene Rivera, gives the signs and kind of block his view. Big pitch. And we'll do it again. Evan Gattis was on the move on the 3-2 pitch and almost fielded that foul ball.
Too bad you can't do that as a base runner. That'd be an interesting rule.
Throw it away.
Yeah, just pick it up, chuck it into a gap somewhere and run like crazy.
Well, this will be pitch number 50 of this game for Pena. The Astros looking to get on the board. The merry-go-round will start again. Everybody off with this 3-2 pitch and 2 outs. Correa line drive, base hit into left center field. 1 run scores. Coming in will be Stassi to score. Bregman held up on the 2 RBI single by Correa, and the Astros lead 2-0.
Nice AB by Carlos. You get that stick going with what you already have from Altuve and Bregman. That is going to be a lot of fun to watch. These guys are jamming up the base paths and creating opportunities, and 94 up, and Carlos getting the barrel to it, hits a rocket back up the middle. That is good to see. When Carlos Correa starts back-legging some things, that's when there is going to be all kinds of runs being driven in.
And that is a big spot, Blummer. You have Altuve batting with the bases loaded and 1 out. If Altuve and Correa don't get the run in, all of a sudden that's a deflator in a game of ebbs and flows. Altuve couldn't get the job done, but his buddy Correa picks him up, and now it's Marwin Gonzalez. Marwin struck out looking his first time up. Pena misses outside, ball 1. If you go back to the last road trip and take Marwin's final 6 games of that trip, plus the 8 games on this road trip, in those 14 games he has 8 home runs. 8 of his 14 on the year. There's a base hit into right field. Bregman will score. Correa to second base. Marwin another RBI on this road trip. That is 11 runs batted in for Marwin on this trip, and it's a 3-0 Astros lead.
2 out Lightning. Marwin swinging a great bat. He knows it too. Just drop the head on it, turn on it. Astro hitters, we talk about them scoring early and often. In this stretch where they've gone with Altuve in this lineup, they really put some pitch counts on these pitchers early on and put them on the defense, but it's always the depth of this lineup that gets me.
Julia.
We've talked a lot about what Marwin Gonzalez has done, but Jose Altuve had a chance to talk about him last night. Altuve loves talking about everyone else, but he really does like giving credit to Marwin, his really good friend who's been with him since the beginning, really. And he said some people get surprised with what Marwin can do. Not me. I've seen him play this well for a really long time. I just really hope he can continue what he's doing after struggling so much of the first half of the season.
Yeah, he has had a huge mountain to climb as Yuli sends one up the middle. Fletcher, a nice play defensively to rob Yuli of a potential RBI base hit, but the Astros lead 3-0.
As they face the Oakland A's, but a huge day for George Springer. He is expected to be back in the lineup. If not, they're going to have to consider putting him on the DL. But good news, he was bouncing around A.J. Hinch's office today, was bouncing around the dugout, fighting harder to get in the game. Has gotten close here a couple of times, but some other injury updates as we're looking at these guys. Lance McCullers Jr., they're actually slowing him down a bit. No bullpen plan for any time soon. Brian McCann is DHing today for AA. Chris Davinsky's supposed to pitch an inning plus today for the Corpus Christi Hooks, and Jake Marisnik in the lineup for the Fresno Grizzlies after having a day off Friday. Had a really nice game with a home run. These guys are all working their way back. As we remind you, rosters do expand September 1st. That's a Saturday, but you could see these guys hanging around the ball club, being reevaluated, getting them ready to be activated from the DL. TK.
Yeah, there's just a different attitude about George today, and he would like to have played today. AJ said, hey, day game after a night game, let's just go one more day. And it will be very surprising not to see Springer back for the start of that homestand. May even see him here today in a pinch hitting situation, but see how this game plays out. Taylor Ward leads things off in the bottom half of the third inning. AJ and George have such a great relationship. George keeps calling him coach. And AJ wearing coach on this players weekend. It's 2-1 to count to Taylor Ward.
Really hasn't been a necessary urgency to get George in the lineup, to be honest. So it's kind of a grateful situation to know that your offense is doing extremely well and you can give the guy a couple extra days to get right.
Well, Valdez walked the first batter he faced in the second inning. Albert Pujols didn't do any damage as he was able to work through that inning, getting the next three, but now he's 3-1 on Taylor Ward to start this inning. And Fromber has walked the leadoff batter the last two innings. How about Correa on this base hit?
Yeah, Matchterm Supermo is going to show you what it looks like when a guy squares up a baseball, hits the barrel to it, just immediately stops the spin and turns it into a knuckleball going into center field.
It's pretty to see from Correa with the 2 RBI base hit. Here's Eric Young Jr. He's around a bunt and bunts it foul. Valdez walking 2 so far in this game. Only walked 1 in his 4 1/3 innings out of the bullpen. He did hit 3 batters. Fair ball. Out at second. Young's not running. Carlos Correa can run the ball to first if he wants. He'll make the toss, and a double play on a ball bunted in front of home plate. That is a fair ball. This is not reviewable, and Mike Scioscia may have an argument, but the play was called by Mike Estabrook. That is a double play.
Just from our vantage point and watching the play from where we are sitting, it looked like that baseball was right on top of home plate.
Eric Young Jr. never left the batter's box, and the Astros turn an easy double play.
I like it. Not easy to do. EY can run, but that ball bounced. The Astros may have gotten one there, but you can see how Stassi jumped out from behind home plate to kind of play it going forward, giving it the appearance that it might have been a little more in fair territory. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest with you. Strami. What sounded like Strami.
The double play was going to be completed even if he had to roll it over there.
Yeah, he almost fell off the bench screaming at him.
Was that Strami? Oh,
for TV purposes, yes.
That is so good. Throw it. 2 outs, nobody on. Cole Calhoun, the batter. Oh, there's a line drive to left, so that double play may be helping out Valdez in this inning. Fromber gives up his first hit after a couple of walks in this game. Calhoun a liner to left. Here's David Fletcher, grounded out to Yuli his first time up. Fromber joining the team on this road trip. Astros using him as their 7th starting pitcher of the season today. See how AJ Hinch and the Astros, Jeff Luhnow and his staff play it out from here on. The Astros will have an expanded roster by the time that spot comes around again on that next homestand. 1-1 the count.
Second time through the lineup for Fromber. Valdez. Calhoun with that base hit maybe has a little bit better idea, but it'll be interesting to see how the Angels adjust to Fromber the second time through.
Towards Correa. Carlos makes the play to Altuve to get Calhoun on the force, and Valdez gets helped by a double play in this inning.
2 View Deck 2 tickets for only $22 at any Tuesday home game. Visit astros.com/value or Minute Maid Park box office for more information.
8 batters hitting in the third for the Astros as they scored 3 runs. Josh Reddick, the only one that did not get a plate appearance that inning. He'll lead off the fourth and takes a pitch for a strike. Josh hit the ball hard his first time up, lining out deep to center field. Mike Trout making a nice running catch. Similar to Carlos Correa, Mike Trout really seems to have improved defensively this year with getting jumps and tracking balls in center field. Correa's first step has been outstanding this year as Reddick goes down on the breaking ball. We mentioned that Pena picks up the majority of his strikeouts with a curveball as he gets Josh to start the fourth.
That was a good one. Bottom just dropped out of it. We've seen the get the over breaking ball, but that's that 2-strike one where you're trying to get the chase, and he did.
3-run inning last inning. Started with Evan Gattis leading off with a single. Came around to score on the 2 RBI, 2-out hit by Carlos Correa. Gattis taking a called strike. Despite the Astros winning the first 2 games of this series 9-3 and 8-3, the Angels are still a +23 this year in run differential, even though their overall record does not reflect that. Angels 4 games under 500 and struggling coming off that last road trip as they won the first 3 in San Diego before losing 5 of the last 6 on that trip. Overall, they've lost 7 of their last 8. Slowly hit towards short. Simmons has to hurry, and he'll be able to make the play on Gattis for out number 2. Two outs, base is empty for Max Stassi, who walked and scored a run. Been ahead of the hitters in this inning, and it's 0-2 on Stassi.
Yeah, much more efficient because of that first pitch strike. But even if you miss, you want to be able to get back in the zone and force the swing in those 1-0 counts.
Stassi was down in the count his first time up before drawing that walk. Astros gained a half game on their off day here in Anaheim on Thursday, with the Twins winning the first game of that 4-game series against the A's. Haven't had much help from Minnesota since then, as the A's have won the last 2 and are leading today 6-2. Strong inning for Pena with a couple of strikeouts in a 1-2-3 inning.
Bottom of the fourth, 3-0 Astros with the lead, and Framber Valdez gets back to work, who was so excited to join a group of guys he's been looking up to all year, spending some time in big league spring training. I asked him if he thought at the beginning of the year, if he thought this was a possibility for him in 2018. He said, yes, that was my goal from day one of spring training. I knew it was possible. I knew it wasn't going to be easy, and it wasn't. He said he had a good spring. He struggled at times during AA, during his time at AA, made some adjustments, just working really close with that staff there. Finally went on a good run, and his confidence on the mound is what AJ noticed so quickly about him in spring. And he said, I'm just comfortable with who I am and what I can do. He said he'll even find himself laughing out there on the mound just to loosen himself up. But also, guys, working with Max Stassi today, that's helped him ease him in a little bit here. Stassi caught him in extended spring back in 2016, so a little bit of familiarity already when he arrived. TK.
Yeah, nice to have confidence at this big league level. If he can laugh out there on the mound facing big leaguers, it's a good sign, especially if you face guys like Trout and Pujols to start this inning. He's able to get Trout on a ground out his first time up.
You love hearing about guys having the time of their life on the field. You know, you work so hard to get here to the big leagues, and then you get a couple outs, you're facing a big hitter, you get him out, and you just kind of go, hey, this is pretty cool. But he's been doing a great job. I agree with the assessment of his poise.
You know, talking to Jose Mota, who's an Angels broadcaster and does Spanish and English broadcast for Los Angeles. He mentioned how unusual it is as Valdez blows a fastball by Trout at 95 miles an hour. Second strikeout for Framber.
That was a perfectly located fastball after some good breaking balls down. And again, it's impressive to me knowing that Mike Trout's strength is down, yet Framber Valdez feels comfortable enough and good enough about his breaking ball to throw it to get ahead in the count and then blew him away with the fastball up.
Asked AJ about that with a young pitcher. How much do you try and give him the scouting report on the other team, or how much you just let him pitch to his strengths? And he said, well, in Framber's case, a lot of his strengths are going to work against this Angels lineup. At that time, he challenged Trout on a pitch that Trout has been able to handle against some pitchers, and Framber won that battle. He walked Pujols on 4 pitches his first time up. Now Albert bats with a 1-1 count. But Mota mentioning that Valdez signing out of the Dominican, now residing in San Cristobal in the Dominican, age 21, is highly unusual. He said it's almost akin to a guy in his late 20s signing at the big league level for the first time to a professional contract in the States for the first time. He said most kids in the Dominican, once you get to that age 20 or 21, if you haven't signed, you're starting to think about other occupations. Well, Framber signing with the Astros and now working his way up to the big league level. Now 3-2 on Pujols, who checks back with Mike Estabrook to see if that would have been called a strike. The count's full.
Yeah, all those Latin American signings are just, it's bizarre to me to see that they're able to go out and get these kids at 16, 17, don't put them through the draft, allow them on. I mean, I know that it's an incredible opportunity, but it's just amazing to me that they're looking to get into the minor league baseball at 16, 17 years old.
Altuve, what a job flagging down that rocket off the bat of the machine. Pujols hits a line drive, and Altuve makes the play for out number 2.
It was a great play on a hard hit ball. It's kind of a luxury as an infielder to know if you at least knock it down, you're going to have plenty of time to throw Albert Pujols out. But that was a nice clean pick by Jose Altuve.
That was a screaming line drive. Oh, a strikeout and that out. Here's Andrelton Simmons. Framber misses to Simmons. It's 1-0. Simone, as he's going by on Players Weekend, takes a strike. It's 1-1.
Good curveball.
That's that Max Stassi framework on a low pitch, and now Valdez ahead 1-2. Framber's allowed 1 hit, a couple of walks. putting the ball on the ground a lot today. Angels have grounded in to 8 outs so far of their first 10, or first 11. Swing and a miss, gets away from Stassi. Simmons heading down to first, and he will reach. Well, we've had a wild pitch earlier in this game, and now on a swinging strike, Andrelton Simmons reaches.
Curveball spiked well out in front of home plate. Not much Max Stassi could do. As a catcher, you're just trying to get as big as possible and hope it skips into your glove, but it hit something out in front of home plate, jumped on Stassi, and no chance. It's unfortunate.
Second wild pitch charged to Valdez. Here's Rene Rivera. Pitch for a strike. It's 1-1. Valdez, he's sturdy frame. He's 5'11", 222. Two and one to count. 2 walks issued by Valdez, both coming to start innings. Into shallow right field, long run. Reddick still coming on, and Josh makes the basket catch on the move. Reddick covers a lot of ground for the final out of the inning. It's still 3-0 Astros. Get big savings during the Labor Day sale. And buy Nissan. Innovation that excites. Astros fans on hand in Anaheim. Astros leading 3-0, going for a sweep against the Angels. Todd Kalish, Jeff Blum, Julian Morales, final game on the West Coast this season. And this is how the bottom half of the fourth ended.
Yeah, we've got some StatCast numbers for you, and I commented in between innings that he gets sneaky good jumps. You kind of wonder if he's going to be able to get there, but at 40% catch probability, that means you've got to get a good jump. And then you saw the sprint speed. That was a great play, even though he made it look easy with the basket catch.
So 40% catch probability, one of the better ones of the year for Josh.
Yep.
Is that 4-star?
It's borderline, I think.
Yeah. Wow.
We'll say 4-star.
So Jake goes up and over Reddick on the wall in left center field and gets a 3-star with a higher catch probability than that one. Josh made it look easy, as it turns out, as Tony Kemp leads off and swings and misses. We'll follow Jake's progress today. As Julian mentioned, Jake rehabbing. Unfortunately not here for Players Weekend. We're missing Big Fudge here for the weekend. Tony Kemp drives one towards right field, but Cole Calhoun is there. And Calhoun puts one away. That ball carried pretty well.
Lace up your shoes and join the Astros Foundation and the Houston Police Department for the annual Badges and Bases H-Town Rundown presented by Chenier. This family-friendly 5K and 10K run will take place Saturday, September 29th, with proceeds benefiting both organizations. To register, visit astros.com/run.
By the way, congratulations to Jake and the Fresno Grizzlies. Jake hasn't been there that long, but the Grizzlies wrapping up the PCL Northern Division last night. They were hit down 6-2 heading into the bottom half of the 9th inning and scored 5, including a walk-off 3-run home run by Kyle Tucker, who was just mashing since being sent back down.
Yeah, it's good to hear. You just wish the clubhouse manager in Fresno would pack some of those swings and bats and send them up with these guys when they get called up. It's in there. Just a matter of packing it with them and bringing it up here to the show.
Saw J.D. Davis, who has struggled at times at the big league level, put on an offensive display a couple of weeks ago. And now Tucker, since being sent down to Fresno, is hitting .632 with 6 home runs in his last 4 games. And a dozen RBIs. 12 RBIs in 4 games. 3-1 the count to Bregman, who reached on a single his last time up.
When you see things like that, when they put up just prodigious and ridiculous numbers in AAA, it often, and then they don't do it here in the big league level, everybody says, why can't they do it here? There is such a discrepancy between pitching in the big leagues and AAA, I feel.
Funny you mention that, because that was a conversation topic before the game, and the 3-2 pitch to Bregman is outside. Alex reaches again. What's new? He's on the road. Just seems like he's an on-base monster. But AJ was mentioning how now it seems like teams are getting away from that veteran who's maybe a little crafty that's still pitching at the AAA level. Now it's a lot more young arms that are trying to find their way, who maybe aren't ready yet for the big leagues. And he said that the discrepancy might be a little larger now than when you guys were playing.
Yeah, I agree. I know when I was coming up and AJ was in that same era where guys, it was kind of a holding ground for guys that would get bounced up and down, or they'd be filling in, but they had to have some big league stuff to be able to play at the big league level in case an injury happened or something like that. Now you've got prospects everywhere, up and down the organizations, which isn't bad, but primarily some of those guys that are in AAA, AA, that have very good stuff. In order to get to the big leagues, you have to have command of that secondary pitch or pitches, and that's where you see some of the development kind of stunt in AAA, because the fastball and the fastball location will be great in AAA. It's the secondary pitches to be able to put guys away that might be lacking. And once those guys in AAA figure out the secondary stuff, they make the jump.
And just thinking about a guy we saw on this road trip, a Ross Detweiler, lefty.
Yep.
In the past, he's going to find a roster spot somewhere.
They'll hold on to him and keep him around a little bit.
But this year, he started the year at independent ball and got DFA'd after pitching for the Mariners out of the bullpen. It is warm out, right?
Yeah, but he got a hit. First AB, he got a knock, so he's got to stick with the hoodie. Keep that core temperature up, you know.
Your brothers hanging out over there. Alice Keuchel, Evan Gaddis on this Sunday afternoon. Altuve with a 2-1 count after the Bregman walk with 1 out. Mentioned Pena doesn't usually end up with a high pitch count. He's at 75 right now. And last start, 91, was his season high. The Angels go to the bullpen more than any other team in baseball, with the exception of Tampa Bay, but they're in kind of a whole different category. Opening starters will see multiple innings from their bullpen. On the move is Bregman, and Altuve fouls one. It's 2-2. Alex up to 10 steals.
He just beating himself up. Watch it bounce up and get that right forearm. Yeah. Welcome back from the DL. Here, just carry these bruises around for a while.
By the way, Julia's 3 for 3, making sure the elbow pad's on.
Good job, Julia.
Maybe he needs to start wearing one on the other arm.
Yeah, no kid.
Altuve fouls one away. Astros averaging 7.5 runs per game since Altuve's been back in the lineup, and they've won all 4 games. And when he was missing during those 21 games, they were 8-13. Now going for their 5th in a row. And it's 3-2. Well, if Pena loses Altuve, wouldn't be surprised if Mike Scioscia starts to get that bullpen going. We saw that bullpen used for 6 innings in last night's game. 7 different pitchers. Zach McGuire, who started that 9th inning and was ejected, is no longer on the active roster. He was optioned today. Hansel Robles back on the active team, but this is a Angels bullpen that has been 9 deep lately, and they have been going through a lot of innings.
Has not been easy for Mike Scioscia to scratch out starts or innings from his starters this year.
3-2 count. Bregman on the move. Altuve grounds one towards third. No chance to turn 2 as Ward will make the play over to first. Bregman into second with 2 outs. So the guy that got the scoring started for the Astros with 2 outs in the 3rd inning, Carlos Correa, will bat. Carlos a 2 RBI single into left center field. I Am Groot, nickname for this weekend.
You know what movie that's from?
You said Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yep.
I'm glad you knew that.
It's my job to know all the important things, or the meaningless, useless information.
There he is. I Am Groot. This weekend with that jersey, he had 2 hits and a walk on Friday, hitless last night, and then today a couple of RBIs on that single. Counts 2-0. Correa with those 2 RBIs up to 58. We mentioned Altuve missing 21 games. Carlos missed 36 games. Playing his 14th game since coming back from the DL. At some point soon, probably tomorrow, Altuve, Correa, Springer in the same lineup. It's been a while. We have not seen that in over 2 months. Counts 3-0.
I'll believe it when I see it. We keep talking about it and hearing about it. It'll be nice to get these guys on that same lineup.
George missing the last 2 series right before Altuve came back in Seattle. There's a strike called. It's 3-1. Well, not only does it thicken your lineup with these guys coming back, but it also puts guys in their more comfortable spots on the infield. Yuli Gurriel has been playing all over the infield, but he has looked great being back at first base. Altuve, obviously, and Correa with the middle of the diamond covered. And as good as Alex Bregman was covering short, continues to make great plays at third. Counts full.
Yeah, that's a very strong left side of the infield with Correa and Alex Bregman. And as good as, like you said, Alex is at shortstop, they are a much better infield with him at third base. He brings a whole another level of athleticism and range at third base.
Astros leading 3-0. Starting the day, game and a half ahead of the A's in the AL West. Season ends 5 weeks from today. Astros playing game number 130 of the season. A's game is over. It's a 6-2 final in Minnesota, so Oakland winning another series. Lost the opener in Minnesota and won the last 3. Correa goes down, so Pena able to come back after being down 3-0 to strike out Carlos Correa.
Framber Valdez going today, backs up Garrett Cole one more day. And yes, it is more rest, but it also might be because of those numbers that you're seeing at the bottom of the screen. In 4 starts against the Oakland A's this season, Garrett Cole has been very good with that fastball curveball combination. 2.92 ERA is very good against the A's, who have been swinging the bats well of late. 38 strikeouts in those 4 starts also is a nice thing to have, to be able to have that swing and miss.
Cole with the off day will be going on 6 days rest with Valdez starting today. And this is a guy you want to make sure you take care of in that series.
Yeah, because we saw him in Oakland do some serious damage. Multiple home run game in there against Justin Verlander, but 39 home runs, 103 RBIs, and just some other crazy numbers as far as the record is concerned, vaulting the Oakland A's into the wild card talk, if not the AL West lead.
And nobody hotter over a 2-month stretch all season long than what the Oakland A's have done since mid-June until, since late June until late August. Actually started in mid-June when the Astros swept them in Oakland, and after that series they have absolutely taken off. With the best stretch of baseball for any team all year, including the Red Sox, who got swept today, losing all 3 games. Tropicana Field. Tampa Bay continues to be the hottest team, and the Red Sox have lost 6 out of 8. Rays winning their 8th in a row. Well, something about Framber Valdez and leadoff hitters. He has walked 2 today. Pujols on 4 pitches to start the 2nd. Ward on 5 pitches to start the 3rd. Now he's 3-0 on the number 7 hitter, Jeffrey Marte. There's a strike, though Marte thought that might have been off the plate. It's 3-1. Arte grounded out to short his first time up. Third walk issued by Fromber. They have all been to leadoff innings. This week on Astros Bases Loaded, we take a look back at Hurricane Harvey as well as the impact on the Astros in the Houston area. Julia will run in the A's Legends race. Justin Verlander reaching the 200 win plateau. Last night getting to 201. All that and more coming up on Astros Bases Loaded after the game, exclusively on AT&T Sportsnet. Pitching coach Brent Strom out there.
He might be out there telling Fromber Valdez the same thing he told Carlos Correa earlier. Just throw it. Get up there and pitch. Get the sign you want. Get the grip you want. Focus on those mechanics and find that release point to get it over the plate, because this stuff is played good enough when it's in the zone.
4 1/3 innings in Seattle. 1 run. It was unearned. Today, 4 innings of work coming into this, and a 3-0 lead. Had only allowed 1 hit, or has only allowed 1 hit, but he's now walked 3. Taylor Ward fouls 1 back. You don't want to just get out there with a 3-0 lead and start throwing fastballs middle, but at the same time, you don't want to walk guys to lead off innings, and he's done that 3 of the 5 innings today.
No, you're exactly right. The last thing you want to do is give free passes, allow these guys not even to make the effort of swinging the bat to get on base. It's a couple of things you can't defend are home runs and walks. Force them to hit the ball to get on base.
Slowly hit towards third. Bregman will try and barehand and have no play. Ward reaches on a base hit. Only the second hit allowed by Valdez, and that one not hit hard at all.
Do or die play for Alex Bregman at third base. Looks like his footwork got a little tied up. You can see that last little step moving to the left to try and get that baseball on the arm side tells you that he might have been thinking about going after it with the glove. And when the footwork, I talk about it all the time, even on a regular ground ball, if you don't get the footwork right, it makes those hands stiff.
So now just the second runner to reach second base today for the Angels. And first and second, nobody out, and Eric Young grounds 1 towards short. Correa, 2 out, Altuve for 1, and his throw is to third. No chance to get the speedy Eric Young Jr., so Altuve tried to catch Marte rounding the bag. And get the out at second base, first and third with 1 out.
P.Y. Jr. runs pretty good, so a good job by Carlos just to make sure that first out. Altuve knew he didn't have a shot at first, so why not try and catch somebody sleeping, but it didn't work out.
So now Fromber will face Cole Calhoun, who singled to left his last time up. Way in off the plate, it's 1-0. Two hardest hit baseballs of the day against Valdez, the single by Calhoun, and then that line drive off the bat of Pujols that was flagged down by Jose Altuve.
3-run lead. Fromber Valdez is trying to be a little bit too quick to home plate, and I feel like that arm is dragging behind, and that's why some of those last 2 pitches missing arm side up and in to the left-handed hitter. Focus on that hitter. Make a good pitch right here.
3-0. A walk to lead off the inning, a little tapper to third that resulted in an infield hit. After a fielder's choice, now he's behind Calhoun, 3-0. Astros bullpen starts to move. Brad Peacock warming up.
See that velocity down to 90, and the 67th pitch in this game matches how many pitches he threw last time out against Seattle. He has been stretched out, starting several games in AAA. You can see Brent Strom on the phone, letting him know how quickly or who Brad Peacock might be facing.
Coming back with a couple of strikes on Calhoun, and now the count's full.
Yeah, I would imagine Brad Peacock might be getting ready for Mike Trout. But if Framber can get through this inning, possible ground ball right here, or getting Calhoun and Fletcher, that would be awfully nice.
Very curious to see what pitch he throws here. He struck out Calhoun on a curveball his first time up. You're in a big spot, first and third in a 3-run game with 1 out. Goes back to that fastball, and he just gets a piece of it, does Calhoun.
Rattling around between Max down there, the inside of that right ankle.
Back towards the mound. Fromberg's going to look at second. They get the out there. The run scores. Fielder's choice. Fromber had a decision to make. He took the out at second. It's now a 3-1 game.
There was a lot going through that mind in a short amount of time. Fortunate to get that lead out at second base. And again, a 3-run lead. Just try and get it out right here. He thought about first base, but turned and made that throw. Carlos did a great job of holding on to second base.
So now he faces David Fletcher. That's the first earned run allowed by Valdez in exactly 9 innings of work in his big league career. Fletcher has grounded out a couple of times today. Seen a variety of velocities on the fastball today.
Yeah, he got down to 90 on a couple of 3-0, 3-1 pitches to Calhoun, and then we just saw 93 right there. And I'm just going to say, it's not an awful thing to see a young pitcher trying to pitch out of some damage or traffic or stress. It's an opportunity for A.J. Hinch and Brent Strom to learn a little bit about Framber Valdez, but it's also an opportunity for Framber to learn a little bit about himself and how to handle these situations.
Seen him as high as 96 facing Pujols a couple of times. Well, if he wants to get his W today, he won his big league debut out of the bullpen. He needs to at least get through 5, and there's a ball that's past Stassi for his 3rd wild pitch of the day. 3 walks, 3 wild pitches. Last time out of the bullpen, we saw 3 hit by pitches. Fromber sitting here with a 3-1 count. Peacock is loose. Mike Trout's waiting on deck. And AJ probably is thinking, along with you, Blummer, that this could be his last batter, whether the inning will end or continue. There is a strike for a full count.
It's got to be something you know you can throw for a strike right here. Might have gotten some help. The reason I say he's got to be able to throw a strike right here is because what we talked about earlier in the inning. No free passes, especially when you've got Mike Trout on deck. Allow your defense an opportunity to possibly make a play behind you to get you out of this thing.
On the ground towards Bregman, Alex will make the throw on the run, and Fromberg gets through 5 with a 3-1 lead.
Tours. Fans can check out areas such as the broadcasting booth, press box, dugout, scoreboard, and more. Visit Astros.com/tours to book your tour today. TK?
All right, Julian, we go to the 6th inning. Astros holding on to a 3-1 lead. Fromber Valdez wobbled, but he was able to get through that 5th. Now Marwin Gonzalez will lead things off for the Astros in inning number 6, facing Felix Pena. Bullpen action going for the Angels as we start this inning. So Pena, as we mentioned, usually does not get into the mid-90s in his pitch count. See how long he lasts this inning as he starts with 86 pitches, and Marwin tries to bunt his way on, fouls one that clips Rene Rivera for strike 1.
Even as hot as we've seen Marwin go, he still squares around to bunt every once in a while. This one ricocheting right off the heart, it looks like, of Rivera.
Rivera making the majority of the start since Martin Maldonado was traded to the Houston Astros. Saw Francisco Arcia last night.
Do you think the umpire asked Rene Rivera, did that sting? For those of you who don't remember, first game of the series, Rivera actually got stung by a bee mid-game.
Right after catching a pitch. Ground ball to Marte for the first out of the 6th inning. Marwin now 1 for 3 with an RBI. See Marwin just a little bit hobbled up that first base line. He's been battling a little tendonitis here. Not quite running at 100%. Unable to score all the way from first on a double last night, and maybe if he was 100%, he could have scored on a double by Yuli Gurriel. Yuli did have a couple of doubles last night and a couple of RBIs. Today he hit the ball hard as last time, but nice play made by David Fletcher. He's 0 for 2 today. The Beanie in a 7-game hitting streak right now. Sends one to center field. Trout going back, still on the move, and reaches over his shoulder to make the catch on the warning track. Gurriel hits it to straightaway center, close to 400 feet.
Mike Trout plays one of the deeper center fields you're going to see also. He's a very good athlete, has good speed, can close in, but does a good job going back on the baseball. Makes a nice play over the shoulder, fighting the sun a little bit, but he does start a little bit deeper than normal. Feels better coming in on the baseball than going back, but in playing so deep, it takes away some of those potential multi-base hits from guys that played like Yuli and like Josh Reddick in his first at bat.
Yeah, Josh smoked a ball his first time up, lining out to center field. Josh takes a strike. It's 1-1. Josh was probably disappointed yesterday that Georgia lost in the U.S. portion of the Little League World Series, and congratulations to Hawaii for winning not only the U.S. championship yesterday, but winning the Little League World Series today. Reddick with a base hit into center field. He's a 2-out base runner.
Yeah, you were all Shaka in between.
Yeah, I was pretty happy. Mom and all her side of the family from Hawaii, so they've been going through a rough stretch here with Hurricane Lane doing some damage to the 50 estate. So congrats to those boys from Hawaii to win the championship today at Williamsport. Here's Evan Gattis. 1 for 2 with a run scored. Highest pitch count of Felix Pena's career is his outing today. He's now at 94. 91 was his previous high. Also had one other game at 90. His last 2 starts at San Diego and at Arizona. So Mike Scioscia stretching him out a little bit here in his 12th start of the season.
Well, this Angel bullpen definitely needs a little bit of rest. Pena is providing it, battling through this game. Tell you what, it'd be pretty impressive if he does get through this inning. You'd like to see the Astros knock him out of here and force Scioscia to get into that bullpen.
They have double barrel action warming earlier in this inning. Cam Bedrosian was the righty. Two 2-0 the count. Gotta think this will be the last batter for Pena, just based on pitch count total. Astros scoring 3 on him in the 3rd. Other than that, he has limited the damage to just 1 hit and 1 walk in the other innings. That ball's sharply hit, backhanded by Taylor Ward, and the strong throw from deep 3rd for the final out of the inning. Pena able to get through 6 innings, and it is still 3-1.
got the Astros on top, doing a very good job. We've seen them on this road trip be exceptional, but on the season with that 3.08 ERA, helps out a very good starting rotation who goes deep in ball games and limits the innings. And when these guys come in, they are shut down.
A.J. Hinch asking his bullpen for 4 innings today. With a 3-1 lead, Framber Valdez just getting through 5, and a good job by him, allowing 1 run. Seemed like fatigue was setting in just based on that fastball velocity of the last inning, and now P comes in, Brad Peacock.
It's too bad you can't put any feathers on the back for Big P coming in. He's had a start this season. It was on that same day that we saw Framber Valdez make his first appearance in the big leagues, but it's been a nice strikeout season again for Brad Peacock with that fastball slider mix. 83 strikeouts and 55 1/3. Tough part of the lineup for him to go through.
Yeah, A.J. not afraid to put Peacock in there into tough situations. He'll have Trout, Pujols, and Simmons this inning. And he takes a called strike, does Mike Trout. Trout grounded out and struck out against Valdez.
Wow. That was impressive. I'm not sure I'd throw a pitch near the zone if I had that call.
The slider fool Estabrook.
Pretty nicely too. I mean, we've seen some pitches off the edge. That might be the best one yet.
Valdez ends up going 5 innings today, allowed his first earned run in his big league career. Only 2 hits allowed, that's outstanding. The 3 walks, all of them to lead off innings, not as outstanding. And the last leadoff walk ended up scoring the only run of the game for the Angels. Called third strike. Trout didn't like strike 1 or 3 in that sequence, and Peacock picks up a strikeout to start the bottom of the 6th.
Judge for yourself. The first pitch a strike. The 4th pitch catches that up and in corner. Nicely done. Might have fooled Trout too, because we talk about the swing and miss on the slider from Brad Peacock so often, mixing things up, going with the fastball with 2 strikes.
Here's Albert Pujols. Pujols walked and hit a sharp ground out his last time up. That ground out was 99.8 off the bat. It was the highest exit velocity of the game for the Angels against Framber Valdez in 5 innings. That ball is also a high exit velocity, and this one finds its way into left field. Pujols with a base hit. Impressive day for Framber overall.
It was, and again, going out there with just that fastball curveball mix, but we saw various speeds on that fastball. Did a good job of getting in the kitchen of some of those right-handed hitters and keeping them off balance with that breaking ball. And still, even the second time around, seeing Framber Valdez's breaking ball, I've been really impressed with his ability to create that spin. There's real late life to it down in the zone. It's also good to see him utilize that defense behind him. Only 3 strikeouts, but a lot of ground ball outs.
If the Astros do keep him in rotation, his next start would be scheduled to come against these same Angels back at Minute Maid Park. But today, 5 innings of work and leaving with a 3-1 lead. Peacock facing Andrelton Simmons. That base hit by Pujols, snapping an 0 for 18. And it's also career hit number 3,082. Sharply hit, but Bregman the nice backhand play, and the Astros turn 2 on Simmons as they go around the horn. That'll end the 6th. The Astros still leading 3-1.
first one. Second thoughts. Second clue, 7-4. 5,714, 324, 98%. Those three numbers are your third clue. Tweet us at ATT Sportsnet SW. Your best guess. We'll reveal it later. TK.
All right, a lot of numbers there. I'm still writing them down. Hey, the last inning ended nicely.
Playing the hot corner, Alex does a good job of the backhand pick. And then from there, it's pretty easy because that ball was hit so hard. Good reaction. See the ball in the glove. Make sure you get a good grip, good feed. Nicely done by the Astros to get Peacock out of that inning.
So nice to see double plays turn the other way.
Oh, my.
Astros have hit into more than their share this year, probably headed towards a franchise record. As we head to the seventh, and we'll see a new pitcher. Felix Pena goes 6, and the first man out of the bullpen today for the Angels is Cam Bedrosian.
Bedrock pitched in the first game of this series. This will be his second appearance, 62nd on the season. His fastball, curveball, averaging 93 miles an hour on the heater. 7 home runs allowed this season.
He will face Max Stassi to start this inning. Stassi has walked and struck out. Bedrosian came on in the 7th of Friday night's game. Andrew Heaney pitching the first 6 innings of that game, and today Felix Pena goes 6. Allows 3 runs. He really only got in trouble in that 1 inning. 8 men sent to the plate in the 3rd, and the Astros scored all of their runs in that inning. Other than that, he had 3 1-2-3 innings. Walked a batter with 1 out in the 5th and allowed a 2-out base hit to Reddick in the 6th. That was it. Nice outing by Pena after that 3-run 3rd. Stassi goes down for the first out.
It's a good breaking ball from Bedrosian right on that outside corner.
Now 50-50 against righties with that fastball curveball combo. Now he'll face Tony Kemp. Kemp has struck out and flied out to right. Astros returning home at the end of this 3-city, 9-game, 10-day road trip. They will be home for 10, 3 with the A's, 4 with the Angels, and then 3 more with Minnesota Twins as Kemp sends one to center field. Trout puts it away for out number 2. So back to the top of the order, Alex Bregman's been on base a couple of times in a row. Single and a run scored in that 3-run 3rd, also walked his last time up. Alex faced Bedrosian on Friday night, hit the ball hard, but he lined out to center field. Alex sends one to center, and Trout backs up on it, shades his eyes, and puts it away for the final out. Strong inning for Cam Bedrosian coming out of the bullpen. A 1-2-3 inning with a strikeout and a couple of flyouts. 7th inning stretch time here at Angel Stadium in Anaheim with the Astros leading 3-1. And we will keep it right here on this Sunday afternoon as we honor America with God Bless America. 3-1 ball game. Brad Peacock coming out for another inning of work, but we're going to send it to Kevin Eschenfelder and Mike Stanton in our Rooms to Go lounge.
We asked you on this Players Weekend what your favorite part of the weekend was. Nicknames, uniforms, or shoes. And 57% of you voting for the nicknames on the back of the jerseys over the weekend. Thanks for voting at ATT Sportsnet SW. TK?
All right, Julia, we go on to the bottom half of the 7th inning. Brad Peacock out for more action as he picked up the 6th inning. Didn't allow a run. Got helped out by a nice double play around the horn. He'll face Rene Rivera, Jeffrey Marte, and Taylor Ward. Righties due up to start this inning, although there is a lefty warming up in the bullpen for the Astros. Very similar to Friday night, A.J. Hinch playing prevent against Shohei Ohtani, who is looming as a possible pinch hitter. And just in case Mike Scioscia is thinking of going to Ohtani, A.J. has the lefty Sip warming up. He pinch hit for Rivera on Friday night, but Rivera leading off here. Down on the count to Brad Peacock. Three-1 game as we head to the bottom of the 7th. Just 8 hits combined, 5 for the Astros and 3 for the Angels. Angels have 3 singles today, and the Astros have 5 singles. Called, third strike. Peacock paints the edge, and Rivera goes down looking for the first out in the bottom of the 7th.
Some pinpoint command by Brad Peacock in that fastball. Again, typically you see that slider, but that is a two-seam fastball running right back over that outside edge beautifully.
I mean, that starts so far off the plate. Of course, as a right-hand hitter, you're going to give up on that. I don't know if Rivera was frustrated with the call or the fact that that pitch had so much movement. Here's Jeffrey Marte. Marte has scored the only run of the game for the Angels. He walked, came around to score in the 5th inning on a fielder's choice. AJ used Colin McHugh and Tony Sip to close out the 9-3 game on Friday, with Will Harris also working the 9th. And last night he had Ryan Presley, Roberto Osuna, and Joe Smith wrap up an 8-3 game. And now today, looking for more than 4 outs from Brad Peacock as he works here in the 7th. 2-0 pitch is popped high in the air. Bregman in foul territory has a play. That's 2 away.
This season we have more ways to watch the Astros than ever before. Download the AT&T Sportsnet app from iTunes or Google Play, or go to AT&TSportsnet.com to stream from your computer. Log in with your cable account information and you're all set. Available to customers whose TV subscription includes AT&T Sportsnet, subject to blackouts and restrictions.
So now Brad will face Taylor Ward, who's been on base a couple of times. He walked and hit a little dribbler that Alex Bregman couldn't make a play on for an infield hit. Stantonelli with that nice frame at the bottom of the zone, and it's 0-1. Well, so far Mike Scioscia hasn't played that Ohtani card off the bench. Probably in the 3-1 game he was thinking if somebody gets on base, then maybe you go to your big left-hand hitter.
Completely agree. If somebody gets on base, then you might try and put him out there because he has the potential to, with one swing, to drive the ball out of the ballpark.
Did so last night against Justin Verlander as Ward fouls one away. It's 1-2. That is as simple a nickname as you can have. Kind of fitting for Brad.
Simple.
Just easy going.
Yep.
Simple.
Not going to overdo it.
Just one letter.
Yep.
Two and two the count. Blake Parker warming up in the Angels bullpen. Cam Bedrosian effective in his 7th inning. Called, third strike at the knees. Brad Peacock strikes out 3 in 2 innings of shutout baseball.
It is Carlos Correa with that rocket back up the middle. Squared it up. On the day, 1 for 3. Got that base hit with the bases loaded. 2 RBI single in that 3rd inning, proven to be the difference in this ball game right now.
Not a ton of offense, 8 singles in this game. Still looking for our first extra base hit. And the Angels go back to their bullpen after a strong 7th from Cam Bedrosian. This is Blake Parker.
Saw Blake Parker yesterday, only for a 1/3 of an inning. Gave up 1 hit in that appearance that he did have on the season. He has 12 saves and 15 opportunities in this ball game right now, just to keep it where it's at.
I'm not sure if Mike Scioscia wanted to use Blake Parker last night, but he was kind of forced into using him in the 9th inning after Deck McGuire was ejected for hitting Yuli Gurriel. He'll face Altuve, Correa, and Marwin. Jose looking for his first hit today. He has bounced back to the pitcher, popped up, and grounded out to 3rd. Altuve 6 for 19 since coming back from the DL. 3 multi-hit games in those 5. Coming back from the sore right knee. Finds himself down in the count here, 0-2. Two really good innings out of Brad Peacock to get through the 6th and the 7th. And the Astros have more bullpen action going. In the 8th inning, we have not seen Hector Rondon pitch in this series, but we may soon. Angels will have their 9-hitter due up and then the top of the order in the 8th. Altuve rips one into the crowd. What a catch!
Absolutely great play.
Man with a glove on a rocket into the stands. That is just beyond where the net extends to the edge of the dugout. Altuve coming in with the best road batting average and best average against right-hand pitchers in the major leagues. 359 on the road, 351 against righties. And hanging in there against Blake Parker. There's only one member of the Astros roster that has a home run against Blake Parker, and he is not even here, I don't believe. At least we haven't seen him today. Garrett Cole, who's pitching tomorrow. Sometimes you allow the pitcher the next day to get an early start, since the Astros will probably be arriving late tonight back to Houston. Ball towards right field and a base hit. Jose Altuve kept battling with 2 strikes, ends up leading off with a hit here in the 8th.
Nice piece of hitting. Kind of had the idea that he was trying to go that way with the fastball. Gets one away, shoots it the other way.
Altuve now 7 for 20. So like coming off the DL and going 350 in your first 5 games. Here's Carlos Correa. Correa driving in 2 in the 3rd inning. And fouls one back. Carlos with a 2-out, 2-run single into left center field. Marwin Gonzalez followed up with an RBI single of his own. All the Astros scoring today. 3 runs in the 3rd. Astros streak of 4 consecutive games since Jose Altuve's been back, but 4 straight games of double-digit hits is in jeopardy today. They need to go here in the last 2 innings. That single by Altuve just hit number 6 on the day.
Going through the schedule and trying to see, because we've seen spurts of double-digit hits, double-digit runs, and this recent run has just kind of made me think, how often have they gone out there and got double-digit hits consistently? And the last time was that 12-game stretch where they won 12 in a row, where they were just putting up ridiculous numbers offensively.
We have not seen the offense of 2017 for the most part in 2018. Part of that was injury related. Even prior to those injuries, they were not on the same pace as the incredible numbers of 2017. Altuve on the move, pitch in the dirt. Nice pick by Rivera, but his throw not in time. Jose Altuve with stolen base number 16. And he's now in scoring position.
It's a pretty good pick and throw by Rivera to make it that close. Good pitch to run on for Jose. Good read. He'll take a peek in just to see in that 2-strike count.
I think Scioscia's going to have them look at this one.
Well, the ball kind of bounced up, and the way that Fletcher picked it almost seemed as if as he caught it, it was on Altuve. I like the feet first slide, by the way.
Yep.
That was a beautiful thing to see from Jose Altuve.
Altuve and the entire Angels infield watching the replay on the big screen. Here's the game summary brought to you by DeMontron. 9 singles in this game, 6 by the Astros, 3 by the Angels. Framber Valdez in his first major league start goes 5 innings, allowed just a couple of hits, walked 3 and allowed 1 run. Carlos Correa had 2 RBIs, Marwin had the other, and Felix Pena did a nice job in his longest outing of the season. Number of pitches also matched his most innings of work with 6. I don't think there's enough there to overturn it, is there?
Yeah, I haven't seen too many angles.
Oh, I got him.
But enough.
Okay, let's see if we got the angle that New York saw.
That's about as tight as you can get in there on that.
Come on, get there, Tuve.
Yeah, that pick was just right on the left knee.
Wow, what a play by Rivera, as it turns out.
Yeah, it was.
So instead of stolen base number 16 for Altuve, he's caught for the 3rd time. And now Correa goes down, so that was a momentum shift in the middle of this inning. 2 away, now the base is empty. Two outs, and Marwin Gonzalez will bat. Not always does the starting pitcher stick around after his outing. In fact, more often than not, the starter will head back into the clubhouse after an outing. But Framber Valdez is kind of soaking it all in after his first major league start. Marwin fouls one back. Framber went 5 innings, and he's still kind of hanging out there in the dugout as we play in the 8th.
I like it. It's a good move.
Why not?
You wonder how much the influence some of the veterans in that rotation are influencing Framber's decision to be out there to watch the finish of this game. Plenty of time to go back up in there, ice up, get your treatment, come back out, and if he does end up with this win, I want to be in that line out there to high-five everybody and tell them you appreciate how hard they played behind you.
Picked up his first big league win out of the bullpen in Seattle on Tuesday night. He joined just one other Astros pitcher in franchise history, Don Wilson, in recording his first big league win out of the bullpen in his debut, pitching at least 4 and change of innings. He was outstanding in that game against Seattle. No earned runs today, just 1 earned run. Sketchy with the command, but he's a young pitcher. You're not going to get everything dialed in right away. First outing he hit 3 batters. Today he walked 3 and threw 3 wild pitches. Those last 2 pitches off the edge. One called a strike. Actually, they were both called a strike. The first one was a ball. Parker kept shooting that outside corner to see how far Estabrook would go. That went off. It's 2-2.
Yeah, you never know. You might as well push it a little bit and see if you can't get the call. Rivera stuck it. Might be a coin flip right now.
Astros started this road trip losing 3 out of 4. They're trying to close the road trip on a 5-game winning streak. Marwin an RBI, his second time up. That was his 11th RBI of this road trip. And with that base hit in the 3rd inning, he actually pushed his average up to 250. Aiding out his next time, so it's back below 250. But when he got to 250 in the 3rd inning, it was the first time since June 23rd that he has been at 250 or better. It has been quite a climb for Marwin, hitting .333 in the month of August with an 1100 OPS. Parker strikes out Marwin for the final out. A couple of strikeouts in the inning for Parker.
Second thought, 7-4, and then a whole lot of numbers that should sound very familiar to Astros fans and Angels fans. 7 no-hitters. He had 4 of those with the team that plays in Anaheim. Received 98% of the Hall of Fame vote. That means 2% didn't vote for him. Or even less. Well, no, 2% didn't vote for him. Okay, check out the highest percentage of Hall of Fame votes all time. Look at the names on this list, guys, and why isn't it 100 across the board here?
Never will be.
Gosh, there's always one. One or two that, man, don't even get me started on some of these guys. Got to be 100% for these guys. They put up ridiculous numbers in their career.
Thanks, Julia.
I'm all fired up again.
Bottom half of the 8th inning, Hector Rondon takes over. Rondi. First time we've seen Rondon in this series, and he delivers a strike to Eric Young Jr.
And we've kind of seen A.J. Hinch flipping between Rondon and Osuna. According to matchups, good job by Peacock. Multiple innings in this outing, 3 strikeouts.
That was very impressive, working through batters 3 through 8 in the lineup. Did allow a hit, but faced the minimum after a double play. Eric Young Jr. bounced into a double play that erased a leadoff walk in the third inning and also grounded into a fielder's choice. 98-mile-an-hour fastball. It's 2-2. Swing and a miss. Rondon able to get Eric Young. First out of the 8th. Check out the Astros World Champions commemorative brick program. With the Astros new brick program, fans have the option to customize a brick with a personal message that will line Champions Walkway at Minute Maid Park. For more details and info, visit astros.com/bricks today. Here's Cole Calhoun, 1 for 3 today. Astros will play the A's and the Angels for the next 7 in the homestand. And then after that, they don't have many games against the AL West the rest of the way. Coming into today, the Astros had played 62 games within the division. By comparison, the Angels have played 49. Ball hit high in the air to center field. Tony Kemp will wait for it. 2 outs in the 8th. After today, just 2 more road trips and 2 more homestands. The homestands are lengthy, a 10-gamer and a 9-gamer. And the road trips are a 6-gamer to Boston and Detroit, then a 7-gamer to Toronto and Baltimore to wrap up the season. David Fletcher takes a strike.
Rhino and David. I'm sorry. Mike was there. I'm sorry. My mind is. Don't say hi. You'll meet the nicest people. I heard that. Where are they? Mike, they're not here. Mike, I'll see you. Mike, I'll see you later. Take care.
Oh, 2 pitch. Fletcher with a single into left field. That's his first hit of the day. And the Angels' 4th hit of this game.
I think that was a split, backed up on him a little bit right into the swing path of David Fletcher. Creates a little bit of a situation with this guy coming to the plate here.
Mike Trout bats 0 for 3 today. Struck out once against Framber Valdez and struck out once against Brad Peacock. Rondon, just coming over from the National League, has only faced Trout 2 times. He has walked him and he struck him out. Rondon ahead 1-2.
Got some choices here. Power slider down and away. Or he could go with that fastball elevated.
You have a preference?
I like the elevated fastball. That's where the Astros have had a lot of success. Down, he has an opportunity to do damage unless you locate it perfectly down and away.
Good pitch, down and away. Gets the swing and a miss from Trout, and that'll end the 8th inning. Astros carry a 3-1 lead to the 9th. The battle for first place commencing at Minute Maid Park tomorrow. Astros heading back to Houston after this game, and then tomorrow Garrett Cole on the mound for the Astros against Brett Anderson. Charlie Morton will take on Edwin Jackson on Tuesday, and then Dallas Keuchel facing Trevor Cahill on Wednesday. A's and the Astros for the final time in 2018. Right now, if the Astros hold on today, they would be separated by a game and a half heading into that series. Here are the updated standings. Now, Oakland has already won today, so they're a game back as we sit here at this point. Astros trying to win their 80th game of the season. Seattle's trailing in their game. They're playing in Arizona, and they started the day 5.5 games back. We go to the 9th in a 3-1 game, and the new pitcher for the Angels is Hansel Robles.
Robles has got time between the New York Mets and Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, making 40 appearances. Just coming off the DL, the opponent batting average 279. Robles has a fastball, comes in averaging around 96 miles an hour. Slider. Rarely throws a changeup, primarily fastball slider from Robles.
And he starts things off with Yuli Gurriel missing up and in for ball 1. Yuli trying to keep a hitting streak going, a 7-gamer. But La Pina is 0 for 3 today. There's a ball hit hard past a diving Andrelton Simmons. There's the hitting streak. Up to 8 games for Yuli. A leadoff base runner in the 9th.
Good swing by Yuli. Getting on the heater. It's always nice when the pitcher misses a spot by a pretty good distance and allows you to rake one for a knock, especially in your last AB. Salvage.
Nice job by Yuli. See if the Astros can tack on a run in this 3-1 lead. Hector Rondon pitched the 8th, and Roberto Osuna is warming up for the 9th. Josh Reddick 1 for 3, lined out deep to center field his first time up, struck out and singled to center. There is Osuna. Roberto pitched in yesterday's game in the 8th inning, and then the Astros blew it open. Still came on to pitch the bottom half of that inning after the Astros scored 4 in the top half. It's already warmed up, and AJ figured might as well get him in the game. Robles the last 4 years with the New York Mets, 187 games, all out of the bullpen. Claimed off waivers on June 23rd after being designated for assignment. And today, just back off the DL after missing 9 games with a right shoulder impingement. One and two the count on Red Dog. Josh, with that base hit his last time up, also has a hitting streak. His is 5 games.
Coming into this game for Josh, the last 4 games hitting .400.
Joining Roberto Osuna in the bullpen is Colin McHugh. You would think that will be based on the score. 3 runs or less, probably Osuna. 4 runs or more, possibly McHugh. No off days between this series and the A series, and in the battle for first place, if AJ can save an outing for Osuna, especially after pitching him last night, he would prefer that, but he'd also like to see his team tack on a couple of runs. On the ground, slowly hit towards second. Fletcher to Simmons. No chance for the double play. Gurriel forced for the first out.
Manage your dream team in franchise mode. Plus, get weekly stats, roster updates, and more. RBI Baseball 18 is available now. Learn more at RBIGame.com. Rated E for everyone.
Here's Evan Gattis. Gattis scored the game's first run with a single in the 3rd. Came around to score on a Carlos Correa base hit. Not often do you get to the 9th inning without either team having an extra base hit, but 7 singles for the Astros, 4 singles for the Angels today.
Are you? Play ball right here.
1-1 the count to Evan. Evan had not started a game since Monday. Tyler White has been the DH. Evan did get a pinch hit appearance in Seattle, but his last start came in the first game of that Mariners series, and they're getting the start today. Speaking of pinch hitting, as Gattis sends one into the crowd.
It's been a Springer sighting.
George Springer.
That is a good sign.
You know what happened last time he was on deck, ready to pinch hit? Gattis was the batter. George was ready to dig in there, get his hacks. Oh, That was that game the Astros won but hit into 6 double plays. And George is like, really? I haven't had a chance to hit in the series.
You trying to be a buzzkill before it happens? You calling it?
No, of course not. By saying it, I'm anti-jinxing. And Gaddis goes down swinging. George will get an at-bat as Gaddis out for the second out.
Well, Gavin might have been waiting for the off speed and got the fastball.
Well, here we go. Welcome back, George. Haven't seen him since Oakland. George has been out with a little sore quad. Getting a chance to pinch hit here for Max Stassi. That is a good sign. So my guess is that we may see him in the lineup tomorrow.
That would be a beautiful thing.
George is one of the few Astros that has faced Robles more than once. He has walked and singled against the former Met. George only 0 for 1 on the year as a pinch hitter. Down out of play. George's only at bat in this Players Weekend. He just goes by Springer. Keeping it simple. No nickname. Not playing that Seattle series. Last played against Oakland a week ago today. Went 2 for 5 in that game. That is going to drift into the crowd. The count stays 1-2.
Swings look good from George. Just a little bit tardy on some of these pitches, but that's to be expected when you miss a couple of games, but doesn't seem to be holding back at all.
Angels in the 9th will have their 4, 5, 6 hitters due up. Albert Pujols, Andrelton Simmons, and Rene Rivera. They do have Shohei Ohtani as a possible pinch hitter. Reddick on first with 2 outs. George goes down swinging. We head to the bottom of the 9th. Astros leading 3-1. Let's go places. By Arctic, overbuilt, not overpriced. And by McDonald's, I'm loving it. From the Big A in Anaheim, the Astros leading the Angels 3-1. Looking for the final 3 outs to try and complete a sweep, and they will go to Roberto Osuna in the ninth.
Roberto Osuna picked up his 10th save back in Seattle on the 22nd. What a strong inning with 1 strikeout. Pitched here on the 25th against these Angels. Went an inning. It was clean, only threw 12 pitches, but here on to try and pick up save number 11.
He did face Albert Pujols yesterday with a runner on and 2 outs. He was able to get Pujols to hit into a fielder's choice. New battery for the Astros with Osuna, the new pitcher, and Martin Maldonado, the former Angel, now behind the plate. Pujols, Simmons, and we'll see if Rivera gets an at-bat against the righty Osuna. Up and in with a fastball. It's 1-0. Framber Valdez for 5 innings of 1-run baseball. Brad Peacock 2 shutout innings. Hector Rondon a shutout inning, allowing a hit in the 8th, and now Osuna in the 9th. Pujols 1 for 2 today with a walk. The only time he was retired was on a nice play on a line drive up the middle. And Jose Altuve flagged down. Osuna ahead 1-2. Reaches out and sends a little flare towards second. Short hop by Altuve. His throw is a little wide, but Gurriel able to stay on the bag. That play looked unusual, but it works out for the Astros.
Actually looked like the play before that Altuve made a great play on, just about half the speed. Check swing, doink up the middle. Pretty good carry on it, turned into a short hop for Jose Altuve. Plenty of time to throw out the lumbering Albert Pujols.
And then Correa wouldn't let him take the return throw from Yuli. Pushing Altuve out of the way. Here's Andrelton Simmons. That's a strike on a swing. It's 0-1. Framber Valdez in his first major league appearance came out of the bullpen in place of Brad Peacock, who was the opening pitcher in that game in Seattle. Today they reverse roles. Framber going 5, Peacock going 2. And now Rondon 8th, Osuna 9th. A.J. Hinch has hinted at the fact that this is the new order of the bullpen, although there will be times when Rondon gets the 9th. It all depends on matchups. Simmons 0 for 3 today. Did reach after a strikeout on a wild pitch. Off the end of the bat, back to Osuna, who takes his time and makes the play for out number 2. Rivera due up, but he will be lifted for a pinch hitter. They have a couple of hitters to choose from. They're going to choose to let Ohtani hit second if in fact he does get to the plate. Francisco Arcia will hit first. Showtime coming on deck. Some fans thought he was pinch hitting, but he is on deck as Arcia will hit for Rivera, and if Arcia keeps the game going, then Ohtani will hit. Arcia caught last night, went 1 for 4. 28-year-old rookie who spent 12 years in the minor leagues. Came out hot for the Angels. Takes a called strike. Osuna 8 pitches, 7 for strikes in the 9th. Arcia batting .304, pinch hitting here for Rene Rivera. Missed the changeup. It's 1-2. Bregman heads back deep at third with a 2-strike count on Arcia. Osuna trying to close this out for Framber Valdez, looking for his second big league win in as many appearances. Spikes one there. It's 2-2. Framber hanging out in the dugout, hoping to join that handshake line momentarily.
He's got the big league look down, doesn't he?
Does not carry himself like a rookie making his first big league start.
Nope, he's enjoying every second. That's the beauty of this clubhouse too. They allow those guys to come in, play well, and have some fun.
Hits Arcia on the 2-strike pitch. And now this crowd's going to get all revved up because Shohei Ohtani is going to be the pinch hitter representing the tying run.
Cut fastball in on the hands of Arcia. Been an effective pitch for Osuna against right-handed hitters, but gets in. This is an interesting matchup considering what went down yesterday. Ohtani handled the situation like an absolute professional, and I appreciate it. After Jose Altuve inadvertently hit up on the hands, Osuna came back and hit Ohtani, but Ohtani understood the situation, went to first base, and didn't make a big deal out of it. But right now, a real opportunity for him to have an impact on this ball game right here.
Good numbers as a pinch hitter this year.
Yeah, he's a bona fide threat off the bench for Mike Scioscia, and this is the situation why he was hitting, as far as pinch hitting second.
Big swing at 94, and he fouls one back. One the count.
Trying to get in underneath the hands of Ohtani. He doesn't offer. He did it the first one. Wow, coming right after him and challenging him with that fastball. Against left-handed hitters, he'll be aggressive with the fastball, Osuna will. 62% of the time coming at these guys with that fastball. Usually gets on the slider.
Doesn't chase that pitch in the dirt. It's 2-2. Swing and a miss. Astros complete the sweep of the Angels and wrap up this road trip with a 5-game winning streak. Astros still a game and a half ahead of the A's in the AL West. And Blummer, after this road trip, did not start out well with a couple of losses in Oakland. It certainly finished strong.
It did, playing within their division, but getting back on the road and obviously getting some guys back off the DL. Correa, Altuve being the big one. They put up big numbers with him in that lineup. But again, the pitching is going to keep them right where they need to be until that offense gets going, and they got going the last 5 games.
They will head home leading by a game and a half in the West as they sweep the Angels and head back to Houston on a 5-game winning streak. We will have more, including the post-game show, coming up after this.